Hello YouTube, I am Vince White. I am an employment attorney, and on this channel we answer publicly posted questions from YouTube users, getting folks the answers they need from an employment attorney. I know, I often don't look at the camera. That's because I'm reading the question or looking at things on my screen. You get what you get. I'm the best you got at this moment. Hopefully the better model comes along and replaces me soon. But this is the video you get. I'm going to not look in the camera, and I'm going to have mess in my office. We have a question here from YouTube user New York Acoustics, who asked us, is it realistic to talk $1 million plus figures at mediation, or is that not really realistic in that forum? Can you bring up at mediation that you plan to go to the national media with information that would be damaging to the reputation of the employer? Kind of their last opportunity to hear what would be in tomorrow's news. Any thoughts? Okay, couple thoughts. When you ask me, is it realistic to talk $1 million valuations at mediation? It depends. Depends on your case, right? So we have this whole case valuation playlist on the channel, and I highly recommend you hit that up. There's so many videos and so many different points of information to take in on how to value a case in that playlist. And I say that because no two cases have the same valuation. There's no average case. There's no correlation. There's no trend in how cases value, because every case has different people involved. Every case has different witnesses. Every case has different pieces of evidence. Every case has a different narrative, right? You know, physical sexual assault tied to attempted murder, hate crime is probably going to trend more valuable than some snide comments about some guy's booty, right? Like, it's just not, these are different things, right? These two things are not the same. Are they both wrong? Yeah. Are they both claims? Yeah. Are they equally valuable? No. Right? I mean, and I know you know that. And I say this not because you need to hear this, New York Acoustics, but I say this because some people who hear this video might have the notion in their mind that if you have a workplace discrimination claim, or if you have a workplace sexual harassment claim, those have a general value. And we need to dispel that notion. That is not true. There is no general value. So when you ask me, is it realistic to talk $1 million figures at mediation, I can tell you for a fact that I have gone into mediations with multi-million-dollar demands, and it's gone quite well. But that's because I was representing someone who had a multi-million-dollar claim, and everybody knew it, and we were able to prove it, and we had a lot of leverage, and, you know, everyone kind of agreed that that would probably be where the number should be, right? Not everyone has to agree. You can go to mediation. If you feel you have $1 million valued case, you can certainly go with $1 million. And the fact that the mediator or the defense counsel don't agree, well, that mediator doesn't decide the case, and that defense counsel is paid to disagree with you. So I'm not too worried about that. The bigger question is, do you actually think you can win it? Right? That's a question to pose to yourself, not to the other side. If you think the case valuation is correct, do you think you can win it? The answer is yes, then you don't need to settle the case, right? The reason to settle the case is to hedge for risk. If you're not sure you can win it, no one's ever positive. There's no such thing as a sure thing in this industry, right? There's cases you believe will win. Cases you believe will win 8 or 9 times out of 10. But there's no 100% slam dunk. If somebody uses the phrase sure thing or slam dunk to you in relation to an employment discrimination or a sexual harassment case, probably delete that person from your life. That person is mistaken. That person is not giving you solid advice. There are no sure things. There are no slam dunks in this industry. So the question isn't, are you positive you can win it? The question is, do you believe you can win it? And 2, do you feel lucky, punk? I don't mean to call you a punk. I just like that phrase. Clint Eastwood? I think it's a Clint Eastwood reference. I'm not sure. So if you feel like pressing your luck, if you feel, hey, this is a great case, I can prove a lot of this, I feel very confident that if we pick a jury and we put on this trial, we can win hearts and minds. We can put up a victory here. And if we put up a victory, that valuation will be high enough that it will be in the 7-figure range. Amazing. Go for it. I support you. Thrilling day to be an attorney. Take that case to trial. That's beautiful. It's life-changing for everybody involved, right? So when you ask me if it's reasonable to go into mediation with a 7-figure demand, the answer is, if you think you can win the trial, and if you think the valuation at trial would be in the 7-figure range, then yeah, maybe It sounds pretty reasonable to me. Now, there's a second part of your question here that we need to address, and we've addressed it in a couple of videos on the channel. But you asked me, and I'll read it again. Can you bring up at mediation that you plan to go to the national media with information that would be damaging to the reputation of the employer? So you have to be careful. You have to be careful in how you do that because it can sound a lot like blackmail. And depending where you are and how you handle things, blackmail can be a crime. So listen, the employer knows that if this is a case that proceeds to trial, there's a really good chance some reporter is going to pick it up. But a really good chance isn't a sure thing, right? So we have a lot of clients. We 400, 450 cases a year. And I got to tell you, maybe a fourth of them will say things like, I'm going to go to the national media. And we put our publicity team at their disposal if that's something they want to do. Although we certainly don't make a direct threat to the employer because, again, there's risks there. We can talk about how you might approach that. But of those cases, how many then get picked up? Half? Half of those cases get picked up. And that's with the assistance of a highly trained, highly experienced publicist. Right? So I don't know what happened in your case, and I don't know how it would play in the press, and I don't know how interested reporters are. But a lot of people say they're going to go to the press. And a lot of times I'm sitting here like, with what? That's a good case. You have a good case, but it's not necessarily going to pique the interest of a reporter. Not all cases do. Again, we return to the concept that not all cases are created equal, right? I'm not saying your case will or won't. I'm just saying be sure that your case is one that the employer fears will gain traction. And if you feel very strongly that it is, tremendous. One of the ways you might want to handle, well, you know what? I'm not going to get into this. Talk to your attorney. If you want to talk to the press, talk to your attorney about how they can ethically convey that without exposing you or your attorneys to risk to the other side in your litigation, right? And if they don't know how, find someone who does. But be aware. Be aware that there are ethical and potentially criminal considerations to how you might talk to the press and have the conversation with your employer, with your defendant, about talking to the press. I'm not trying to scare you away from doing that. We routinely control the public narrative for our clients. It is important in this realm of law to control the public narrative, right? There are multiple facets to these cases, and the court of public opinion is one of them. It's a meaningful one that matters. It's also a complex one. Getting a lot of repetitions at playing that game will sharpen your attorney's ability to play that game. I don't know, New York Acoustics, YouTube user, New York Acoustics, what you do for a living, but if you haven't had many, many, many repetitions at playing that game in the public eye, I would suggest that you have counsel who does, without question. And there's many of those. I see New York in your name. There are many such attorneys in New York. Many. And I recommend that you speak with them, and I hope you have them representing you already. That would thrill me. But I don't know that you would necessarily want to do that at mediation. Often, that would be a conversation for if mediation failed, and it would be done in a way that was more of a courtesy to the employer, like, hey, this story is going forward. We're going to be talking to these reporters tomorrow. We don't want to catch you, flat-footed. This is a courtesy. We're letting you know we're having that conversation tomorrow with the reporters. That might be a good way to approach it. But again, talk to your attorney. I'm sure she or he is going to have a variety of talented and experience-oriented tactics that they employ when controlling the public narrative. I hope. If this video was helpful, like, subscribe, comment down below. It helps me to help more people just like you. Remember, almost everybody works. Not everybody wins. Be smart out there. Take care.